I'd like to call this Town of Cedar Lake Town Council.
It's Plan Commission first.
I'd like to call Town of Cedar Lake Plan Commission special public meeting agenda to order, June 30th, 2021 at 6 p.m. Please everyone stand for the pledge. Mr. Carnahan, lead us please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Bob. Roll call, please.
Mr. Carnahan?
Here.
Mr. Foreman?
Present.
Mr. Sharp?
Here.
Ms. Dessauer? Present. Mr. Becker?
Here.
Mr. Kapora?
Present.
Mr. Wilkening?
Here.
Attorney Austin?
Present.
Ms. Merck? Present. Mr. Everly?
Here.
And Margaret Abernathy, Recording Secretary.
Thank you very much. First item and only item for this public hearing is resolution number 1285-2021 Comprehensive Plan Amendment. This is for a recommendation to the Town Council. Everybody's, I hope, had a little time to look this over. This is regarding the 41 corridor comprehensive plan update. 41 corridor been broken up into 4 sections: existing, new, future, north, central, south, and future. A lot of this includes existing, perhaps even non-conforming. Any commissioners have any questions right now?
No.
I just have one question. Who up here was on the board? You?
Here at the work session?
Yeah, work session.
I was there.
Okay. Who else from the fire commission?
It's on the front page here.
Because I thought it showed all the pages.
Comprehensive Plan Update Steering Committee, John.
Oh, I got you. Okay, so Nathan from RDC, Jerry, Julie, okay. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Austin, are the reviews of all the legals in order?
Mr. President, members, the matter before you is an amendment to the town's comprehensive plan. There's a specific statutory requirement for publication regarding that. 2 publications occurred in the newspapers, Times and the Post-Tribune, timely made, with more than enough time, actually. Notice was given of the date, time, place of the public hearing, opportunity to be heard, the content of the public hearing, and the availability of the amendment to the town's comprehensive plan for any interested citizens. That all occurred and timely. So the matter is now before you in consideration of the public, any comments the public may have, the record to be made therefrom, and your action for approval and recommendation in turn to the town council for the next steps in the 500 series.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Austin. Are there any other opening or any other remarks? Any other comments? Anything at all? Okay. I'm going to ask for any remonstrators. Please come to the podium, state your name and address.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
May I offer a suggestion? Perhaps the town manager and Veritas Consulting Group could provide a little bit of foundation for what you're about to do, what you're about to solicit from our citizens.
Okay. All right. Let me continue with the remonstrance. Is there anybody online? Nobody online? Nobody? Okay. All right. I will close that portion, and I will ask for the group who put this together, the Veritas Group. Please come to the podium and give us a basic summary.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
There we go. All right. Good evening, everyone. Marlon Webb, Director of Community Economic Development at the Veritas Group, and with me is Joan Rollinson, Project Manager with Community Economic Development at the Veritas Group. Just want to give you a little bit of background as to how we got to where we are today. We have a PowerPoint. I don't know if it's on.
I put it on the desktop.
Oh.
What's the flash drive?
Anyway, well, as they're pulling that up, we'll just kind of go over some of the highlights of what's in the comp plan update. Most of what you've already read is probably what I'll already go over, but just to provide a little bit of context to it. So, on the next page, I talk about the purpose of why we're engaged in this activity. So click the next page. Thank you. So what you all have seen and what we've been hearing from those on the steering committee, council, RDC, from various projects that you've engaged Veritas in over the years is the projected growth that you've been seeing, and you've seen a lot of residential growth happening here in this part of Lake County, and especially within right outside of your town borders. And so in order for you not to allow development to happen to you, but for you to strategically allow development to take place, we thought that it would be best that you all engage in this activity where you can kind of guide some of the activities that you want to see here in the community. So as stated, the residential development expanding on the west side of town and strategically wanting to manage that, but also allowing some of the existing uses to still take place. So you don't want to restrict what you already see happening, what market conditions are already allowing, but how you can kind of work together with the market and to allow them to still come into your community happily and develop for you and for you to see what you want to see. So this comp plan update is a guide. It's not really to dictate anything, but more to act as a guide for future development, for you to see and to allow the what and the where the town would like to encourage development to take place. And so this also served as a foundation for any future updates to your zoning ordinance and modernizing your subdivision ordinance, which I think Rick has already started that process as we were going through this process as well. So on the next page, you'll see through this process what we were trying to establish here and what we were able to put together in this update. So basically we were trying to determine what you saw the true need being here in your community, especially on the west side along the US 41 corridor. So determining that need and then doing some background research, and that research included looking at demographic information, having the conversation with the steering committee, the focus groups, and stakeholder public meeting, and then using all this information that we were getting from your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats, and things that you saw and what we were seeing from the market, and then marrying those with best practices that we were seeing happen across the state and across the nation. Obviously, with more focus on what we see taking place within the state, because a lot of things that take place from a development standpoint is dictated by what the state legislature allows you to do. So as we kind of use all of that information and then allow you all to see and kind of come up with you, alongside of you, how we can encourage the development that you want to see. And so towards the end of the document that you all have, is where we identify these action items and the responsibility matrix for you to implement these changes to encourage that development. So the next page, you see the future land use map. And hopefully you all, I know this is kind of far away, so hopefully you all had a chance to review it beforehand. But these are the uses that we saw that made the most sense to continue to encourage residential growth that you all are seeing, but also to take advantage of what other uses can complement that growth and what industries would make the most sense. So we don't go into specific items on this. It's more from a comprehensive standpoint and viewpoint of the type of uses that you will want to see here, so not dictating the exact businesses that will go here. So you will see a combination of a variety of densities in and along and around the corridor. You see different type of industry mixes, really to encourage ways for you to diversify your tax base, because you don't want to go all in one industry and then something, God forbid, something happens to that industry, and so now you're stuck with, a loss because you focus on one industry, which we've seen other communities do across the state, where they have to be reactionary to that, whereas now we want you to be proactive and encourage those uses so you can diversify your tax base. And so, on the next page, this conversation kind of led into a zoning conversation where we have this future land use map, we have these overarching guidelines. However, there isn't much teeth to it without there being some change to your zoning ordinance, and so this is where the overlay district comes from. So in most overlay districts, it pretty much puts more restriction on the type of uses or development and standards that you would typically see take place under these district ordinances. However, what we're trying to do here is to continue to encourage existing uses to thrive while we see other uses coming to the area. So you don't want to kind of run those existing businesses and industries out. You want to encourage them to continue to grow as well as we encourage other uses to come along the corridor. So that's the general purpose of the overlay district, but I know you will hear more about that from Rick and his team in the coming months as they continue to make updates to the zoning ordinance. On the next page, this is just a map highlighting that overlay district, which I know it's kind of hard to see from here, but it's kind of towards the middle of the map there. So we can go to the next page. Hopefully you can see it within your actual document. And this goes over a proposed transportation network. The changes that we think would make the most sense to support the uses. Again, there's only so much you can do when you tell a developer, hey, these are the type of uses that we want to see out here, if there isn't much change that the town puts into it by way of infrastructure, roads, the improvements that they would need to see to have the changes that you will want to see along the corridor. So right now, I know we've had several discussions about some of the improvements that have been needed for years, and so this takes all of that into account. So we didn't put this together based on what we just thought should happen, but it was based on what you all are currently seeing here in the town and the improvements that you currently have mapped out, and how we can try to make some of those improvements and make the adjustments based on how we know that certain resources may become available if you classify it at certain levels. And so that is what you have identified here. So on the next slide, kind of just talk about at a high level, don't go into the sub-points here, but we talk about the action items. So we know that you've done a fiscal plan for your utility work out here that you have proposed. And so here we're just suggesting that you complete that master utility plan where you have the maps, you have everything identified, so that when that work, when it's time to come to do that work, you'll have everything that you need in place. And as development continues to come, because sometimes development may get ahead of some of these improvements, so how can you kind of balance that out? And so this is what that utility plan can help you do. And it also allows developers to see what your plan is if they don't see certain drainage or stormwater improvements, things of that nature. They know you have a plan for it, so they could come in and work alongside of you to make that stuff happen. Establish the US 41 corridor overlay, which was discussed. Update the town's transportation and functional classification map, which was in the last map image that was on the screen. Complete a bicycle and pedestrian master plan. Here, we know this isn't like a park plan. This isn't a pedestrian plan that we propose right now in the comp plan update. But we do know that a lot of developers that are looking for mixed-use opportunities, that are looking for commercial opportunities, they're looking for those fields where those amenities that will attract people to the area, because regardless of what it is, whether it's business, industry, whether it's retail, whether it's hospitality, whatever it may be, they're looking for heads and beds. They're looking for what attracts people to the area. And so we try to make sure we incorporate some of those amenities that would make the most sense to attract those developers to come to the area when they know that you've invested in those quality of life, third place development activities. The next one is establish a neighborhood and housing strategy. Again, this kind of ties into the pedestrian bicycle master plan, where you're encouraging the type of housing that you want to see along the area. Right now, I know you have a lot of single-family home, maybe lower density, maybe some medium density is happening right now. But I know that you will want to see maybe some higher density, maybe along or near the corridor for some of the retail activity that you will want to see to increase traffic counts, things of that nature. So being strategic as to where you want to place those type of developments will be key and crucial. So when a developer does come to you and propose something to you, if you don't want it there, you have a place to guide them and say, hey, you want to build a medium density in an area where we've classified for high density. Either you make the change here or you move to another area where we've classified this area to be. And then lastly, create a land strategy. How can you be strategic in taking land control? And land control doesn't always mean acquiring property. Sometimes it means how you zone certain areas, the things that you do around the land that you want to see used for certain uses. So maybe it means maybe some park space, or maybe doing certain things to your streets, things of that nature, how you control the type of use that makes the most sense in the areas that you want to see certain developments. And then I believe that may be it. Yes, that is it. So I tried to just give a quick high level how we got here, things that we looked at, but happy to answer any questions, concerns that you may have.
Yeah, I have a question. Marlon, Jerry, Randy, maybe Julie, whoever else was on the committee. Did the subject matter of making Lakeshore Drive from like the fire department over to the town grounds? You know, in the past, we've promoted the Wahlberg Photography to take over a house and create a business out of it. Did that discussion come up along that corridor, or is that not necessarily?
41.
Oh,
Yeah, this was all 41, yeah.
okay, very good.
It pretty well started with what some of us know as Cook,
Yeah.
north, south, and west.
Because as you know, we've been chatting off and on about making that Lakeshore Drive some retail / residential / whatever.
John, I think that's the next comp plan update, which is the bigger one.
I got you.
Once that zoning ordinance is in place, that's when that next one
Do a
should take
revision.
place. Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
Anybody else have anything?
Nice job, by the way.
Thank you.
Mr. Carnahan.
Are you gonna go to the town manager? Mr. Austin indicated that he.
Marlon covered the waterfront.
Okay.
I'm very happy with the work that Veritas has done for us, and I think Marlon's presentation was, the summary of the events was spot on.
If this is, we set a favorable and then we adopt a resolution, under land use, under the medium density, it says, should not have direct access to the corridor or of the corridor. I'm taking that as meaning direct access to 41.
Yeah, well, sure. The discussions were to limit those curb cuts, because as we go north, we see where there's a lot of direct access points to the corridor.
Right.
Creates a lot of traffic problems.
Right.
So what we'd like to do with future development is move that off the road and create frontage access points.
So if this gets to our plan commission here, then it goes to you guys, being the town council. Then if somebody comes before us, we can limit them to, according to this?
This is a guide.
Pardon?
This is a guide, and it is an element that you may consider in whatever your consideration is about that particular matter.
It's not a plan, it's not a plan, it's a guide.
So we legally can tell them, we don't want to access to 41, we want you to put in a frontage road to 129th to get out.
You could.
And you could do that without this, John, yeah. This helps guide, as Dave said, this helps guide you, but,
Right.
yeah, absolutely, during the planning process, you have every right to limit access to a Route 41, for example. No more than 2 entrances or exits, but during the planning cycle, you'll be able to do that. I think with or without this document, you could do that, but this is just a tool to help guide you in that development. That's a statement of, or policy of land use, that's one of the elements that's required in a comprehensive plan in any case. So I think that
Okay.
helps cover you there, John.
And the frontage road discussion came up south of the middle school. You know, to cut into 41, here, and here, that was not, that was, seemed like a bad plan.
Yeah, Jerry's right.
So that's what a frontage road along there alleviates, it, you know, people can walk along there if they want and not have to worry about
Right.
being on 41, so.
Yep.
Just like the 2007, the 2012, and now the 2021, they're just guides, and what somebody wants to do, it may be in the comprehensive plan, but we may have a discussion with them and come up with some other ideas.
We'll get 2017 update too, Bob.
I didn't bring that.
What?
That was the amendment we made for
Wait,
the,
could we take a break, then go back and get that?
Wouldn't fit in his car.
In the trunk.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Austin, anything else?
Two actions to consider tonight. First is to approve or not approve the South 41 corridor component to the town comprehensive plan, and if favorable, certify a recommendation to the town council to adopt or consider adoption of the resolution. The resolution's for them, not you, but your action gets it to them.
We have two motions.
Two motions.
Two recommendations.
No, first is an approval by the plan commission of what you just heard,
Oh, okay.
what was
Right.
presented to you. Second is a recommendation to the town council.
All right.
So our agenda doesn't reflect that.
Well,
Right.
Not exactly.
in part,
Yes.
in part it does.
Okay, one last time. Does anybody have anything they'd like to comment on regarding this matter? Everybody's good. Okay. Is there a motion, is there a motion for the approval of the Veritas final draft master plan for the 41 corridor as presented tonight?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the comprehensive plan update, including the US 41 corridor plan.
A motion by Mr. Foreman,
Second.
second by Heather Dessauer. Roll call, please.
Mr. Carnahan?
Yes?
Mr. Foreman?
Yes.
Mr. Sharp?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Capora?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkening?
Yes, motion carries.
The next action is just like your other actions to the town council recommendation.
Would anyone like to make a motion regarding a recommendation to the town council to consider this resolution 1285-21 comprehensive plan amendment?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Favorable.
I'll make a favorable motion.
recommendation.
And I'll second that favorable motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Heather for a favorable recommendation. We have a second by John Capora. Roll call, please.
Mr. Carnahan?
Yes.
Mr. Foreman?
Yes.
Mr. Sharp?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Capora?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkening?
Yes, motion carries. All right. Seeing there's aren't anything else on this agenda.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
in furtherance of the action you just took and in anticipation of possible action by the town council this evening, work on the overlay zoning district for the Route 41 corridor has begun. Gotten some good resource data from Veritas Directions and beginning an outline of that process, so we can bring it to you soon.
Okay. Okay. Is that in here also, or is this preliminary?
No,
That's just a short narrative
Okay,
of
right.
what it is.
you do not have
Okay,
product yet.
all right. I guess, does anyone have anything else before I adjourn the meeting?
All I got to say is this is one of your shortest meetings.
Why the short jokes?
The
all
shortest.
time? I gotta listen to short jokes all the time.
For short or long.
Okay.
I'm good at this end, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I'm gonna call this,
Our next meeting will be at 6 o'clock on Wednesday. We got the work session and then the regular meeting at 7.
okay, I guess we can, call this meeting adjourned.
What?
Call this town council special public meeting to order. We already did the pledge, so we'll skip that. We'll move directly to roll call.
Robert Carnahan?
Here.
John Foreman?
Present.
Ralph Miller?
Present.
Colleen Scheeben? Present. Richard Sharp?
Here.
Julie Rivera is absent. Randy Niemeyer?
Present.
I am present. Rick Epperly?
Present.
David Washington?
Present.
Keep the family of Councilwoman Rivera in your prayers. They're having some issues. Her parents are right now with some health issues, so that's what she's dealing with this evening.
Absolutely.
We have a quorum present. Is there public comment on agenda items? Public comment on agenda items. Third call for public comment. Public comment's closed. One item under new business is Resolution 1285, adopting the 2021 Comprehensive Plan Amendments. Mr. Sharp, would you read by its title only, please?
A resolution amending the town's 2007 comprehensive plan, as well as the updates of 2012 and 2018, specifically regarding the U.S. Route 41/Wicker Avenue corridor component of the town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, and all matters related thereto.
Thank you. Any comments by the council? Okay, we'll solicit a motion to adopt the resolution number 1285 based on the favorable recommendation of the Plan Commission.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Miller, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Scheeben. Questions or discussion? Roll call.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
John Foreman?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Colleen Scheeben?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Randy Niemeyer?
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Is there any public comment? Any public comment? Third and final call, Mr. Austin.
May I have your authority to record and publish notice of adoption?
Please do.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Public comment is closed. The next town council meeting is Tuesday, July 6th at 7 p.m. This meeting is adjourned.